Yo, this is the Live Wire. This episode, we're only dealing with champions. We have Phillip Achan from HYO, the Hermitage Youth Organization. They won down in Guadalajara on Saturday. And then CSK. Everybody knows CSK, champions. They won in Bonnet on Sunday. So we like more of them on the phone though, but it could be a nice show.
You alignment with the Live Wire. The Live Wire.
This coming week is a short week. And if you're a sports fan, any kind of sports fan, it's supposed to be one of those weekends that you will relish. People who like to line, finding some way to go. And it have plenty things to go to. There are a lot of tournaments going on right now. Some of them you'll be, informed about on the sideline. And we'll be talking about some of them throughout our stint here on the podcast. Not necessarily today, but we're going to be talking about, we're also going to be talking about them. And in Trinidad, we love a long weekend. I don't imagine anybody not loving a long weekend. It's actually a long weekend in the United States because it's Memorial Day today as we're doing this podcast. I know it's going to be dropping Monday night, all around 9 o'clock, when everything going on wind down. And winding down in the States is not like winding down in Trinidad and Tobago. Somebody's had to stop us. All they know that. Somebody's had to stop we. We doesn't know when to say enough is enough. But talking about that long weekend, we're not going to be having a show on Friday, or let me just say that. I'm not sure if I want to tape a show on Thursday, just yet to drop on Friday, because, I have the facility available to me, but there are so many things that's actually happening because of the extra long nature of the weekend, because the weekend starting from, for some people on Wednesday. But it starts on Thursday, and I want to take this opportunity to wish all the Roman Catholic community, the members of the Roman Catholic community, a happy Corpus Christi, as well as the East Indian community, a happy Indian Arrival Day beforehand. I will, if I decide to do one, you guys will know, and maybe I'll sound the greetings again, maybe, but providing that I do so. But just in case I haven't done it, I'm not going to do the show. I just want to take in front. Also, if you're a big sports fan, worldwide, well, particularly in the Caribbean, this weekend is a big one, because Champions League final is on Saturday between Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid. And that's one of those finals that there are persons who will be rooting for Borussia Dortmund just because they hate Real Madrid. Because I can't imagine, all of us know that there are teams that you are fans of, and there are certain teams that you're just aware of, but I can't imagine that there are Borussia Dortmund fans in Trinidad and Tobago. They probably are, but unless you're from Germany itself or parts of Europe, I don't think it's a Borussia Dortmund fans. Somebody like me could be watching the game and I could be rooting for Borussia Dortmund really and truly because I've never been a fan of Real Madrid. I've been a fan of some of the players over the years. It's kind of hard not to be a fan of some of Real Madrid players, okay? But I will be rooting for Borussia Dortmund. Real Madrid win this thing a million times already. They don't need one. They will tell you that they need to do it, but I don't think so. Players probably need to do it because it does something nice to their resume. That's fine. I certainly could understand that, but I don't see Real Madrid needing it. I can't give a very informed prediction of how the game is going to go, because I think, and this is something rare, that you'll hear somebody say a team like Borussia Dortmund is definitely on par with Real Madrid. Some people will say, well, they have better talent, Real Madrid have better talent, and so on. But you know what? For you to get to a final at this magnitude in world football, you had to be good enough. And in order to be good enough, I remember years ago when Porto made it to the finals, they did, basically what they did was nullified their opponents, which sort of frustrated them because, a team like a team like Real Madrid basically will just play to their strengths because they believe that their strengths is what brought them there, and and that's fine. But the technical warfare that will have to go on for Borussia Dortmund to win that, it might be something different, it might be something special. But at the end of the day, I know that some people many people who are looking for Borussia Dortmund to win, not because they are Borussia Dortmund fans, but they're looking for them to win. In Caribbean, we'll be looking at the T20 World Cup that's going to be starting from like 8:30 in the night. But I have a problem, I have a serious problem. Now, I don't like the word purists when you're talking about sports and when you're talking about, especially professional sports. People just talk about they're purists because they want things to stay the same. And, I personally could understand that because change is not the easiest thing to deal with. But I think we're going crazy. Because if the first game in the T20, the ICC Men's T20 World Cup is between America and Canada, well, Diamati, I'm telling all you. Now understand the financial implications for that. And because, well, part of it is being held in the United States, which is something that, if you want to call me a purist by saying this, I could do it without that. I could do it without major cricket playing in the United States for a tournament that's supposed to be held in the Caribbean. For all intents and purposes, or for everything else, the United States is not the Caribbean. So forgive me. I want the money. I want them to make the money, but find a different way. Because apart from the sport itself, I can't see any growth with the sports, well, at least in the Caribbean, if the United States is taking a part of the revenue for a tournament that's supposed to be held in a traditional test-playing territory like the Caribbean, the only such one in the Western Hemisphere. That, for me, is a problem. So for America and Canada to play in the first game, I mean, for them to play in it, that's fine. That's their business. They qualify for the World Cup. They deserve to play. But for them to play in the first game, and there's a lot of West Indian and East and Indian and Pakistani, especially offsprings, who are definitely going to be in the game. I doubt there's going to be pure Americans playing in those games. For them to be playing the first game, I think that's sacrilegious. That is just my opinion. I am just the live wire, and I just ask people to line with me. So much so that I'm going to tell you guys to stick around. We have Phillip Achan of the Hermitage Youth Organization. He's going to be joining me on the phone because his team on Saturday won the Guadalajara T20 Night Cricket Tournament. It's a big thing. Them guys have been plugging away at that for years, and he's going to be joining us. I'm going to congratulate him. He's going to relate to us what the game was like. It should be fun. Later on in the show, we're going to be having CSK's manager, Mr. Aamir Khan. All right, and he's going to, because them won a final last night too. They won a win-ball cricket tournament up in Bonaire Gardens, the Bonaire Premier League, and he's going to be joining us. But first, we have Phillip Achan, and he's going to be joining us next, Lineman with the Live Wire.
He's the Live Wire.
All the content on Lineman with the Live Wire is driven by the content on the Sideline Facebook page that highlights and promotes lesser-known leagues, community, and minor league sports. If you're interested in the reporting of your league, just inbox us at the Sideline or WhatsApp 482-0438. That's 482-0438. We'll let you know what you need to do. For now, it's free, so take advantage. Let the world know what's happening with your league. Join us at the Sideline. Make stars out of your weekend warriors.
Jason the Live Wire. Jason the Live Wire.
So we're joined in this episode at first because we have two interviews this afternoon with Mr. Phillip Achan, who is the manager of the Hermitage Youth Organization, and they are the 2024 champions of the Guadalajara T20 Night Cricket Competition. Phillip, welcome to Lineman with the Live Wire.
Yes, good evening.
So this is what, first of all, I want to congratulate you and your team for your triumph over last year's champions, Spoilers DB, in the finals.
Thank you so much. It wasn't easy, but thanks again. Thanks to everyone.
Well, the first and, well, I won't say obvious, but one of the questions, because for somebody like myself who have been following the tournament for the last 2 years, is that you all were dumped out of the competition last year in the Big 12, in the Big 16. But last year was Big 16.
Yes,
right.
correct.
And this year, because of less teams, there was a sort of abbreviated sort of tournament where it was a Big 12. There were 3 groups and Big 12. And you guys actually went out, and you guys were undefeated, went out and won your Group C. Yeah. So the question for me was, what changed? What did you all go out to look for to change for this year's tournament?
Firstly, going back to last year, we came across an issue. Now, a couple of our players were injured last year, and qualification was an issue last year. Now, last year, the rule was each player had to play 2 games to qualify, and with the injured players that we had, we didn't get our full quota of players who we registered. We didn't get all of them qualified. So we actually went into the knockout game, the round of 16 game, short. So we played with 10 in that game, yeah. Now, we were still in with a chance to win the game. We were chasing, I think 196 or something. We were on course, but we ended up faltering in the end. So we lost. Now, we had a big discussion even after joining the competition this year. Changed a couple of things. We actually brought in a couple new players, Richard Harris, Achan. Those are the 2 notable names that we brought in, and they contributed well. More so from Richard, because he played all the games, and I believe that he ended up with most wickets for us. I don't know if he ended up with most wickets in the tournament. That's that always gave us a good start. So that's the main factor in us winning out the
Well, for the information that you would have probably wanted to forget, I could let you know that last year on the 3rd of May, you guys played Hill Peace.
Yes.
And lost by 12 runs. Hill Peace would have scored 194, and your guys came just short 182 for 7. And as a matter of fact, one of the Hill Peace players, I want to believe, is actually I think I'm mistaken, because I was thinking that I remember Kern Ramdeen doing something really, really special in the tournament last year, and not thinking that he was playing with you guys, because I know he plays and was part of the organizing committee of a tournament, a win ball tournament down in Hill Peace. So thinking that naturally that he would have been a Hill Peace player, but he actually was an HYO player.
Yes.
So, but the thing is, what I want to know is that, this tournament has been around since 2014. How long have you guys been playing in the tournament?
Actually, this is only our 2nd year in the tournament. HYO, this is our 3rd year playing minor league cricket. We have always played cricket under the TTCB. Like, the club was established in 1958. And since then, up until 3 years ago, we decided to leave the zone, because the cricket to be honest, the cricket not attractive anymore, the zonal cricket, and it's difficult to get players to play that cricket, to pour the money, sponsorship, all of that. So we decided to join minor league, and a couple of the boys came back home. So this is only our 3rd year playing minor league cricket, and our 2nd year playing up in Waraka under HYO. All the other guys would have play over there already and wanted with other teams like Keegan and them wanted with metronomes and all of that. But yeah, on the HYO, this is only the 2nd year being played.
And how has that been for you guys?
Tremendous, I'd say, really. Like, since in the 3 years that we joined minor league, and we actually reached final, the only final I believe we missed out on was Waraka last year.
Okay, now
all the competitions we played since joining minor league, we reached the final.
Well, you guys played against the defending champions from last year, Spoilers DB, who themselves were looking for their third T20 title in Guadalajara, their second in a row.
Yeah.
And that game came down to the fact that you guys just scored 4 more runs than them. Take me through that game.
To be honest, the game swung both ways. It was anybody's game. Now, they won because we know Timothy, the captain of Spoilers. He is actually a former HYO player.
You're talking about Timothy Narayan.
Timothy Narayan, yes. He born and grew up in Hermitage. Came through the Hermitage Youth Organization, all of that. So we know him very well. Well, Timothy, or James as we call him, that's his nickname.
Okay.
He won the toss and inserted us to bat. We had a discussion prior to going into bat, and our skipper Keegan was like, we're not specifically targeting a certain total, but we know that usually we just want to go for 180 plus over there. Anything after 180 is bonus. So upon we got to 181, which we believe was more or less right on par for that wicket and the Guadalajara ground and outfield. So again, Richard gave us a good start by sending one of them their openers. I think it was a Shiva guy, yeah. Tariq Abdul came in. He scored 47.
Very good batsman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He scored 47 of 14 deliveries.
Wow.
14. Yes. So he sort of took it away from us there. A brilliant catch from Bevan Duncan to get Tariq out of the bowling from Bisham Ramrup, also known as Rock. Right after we managed to get one of their key players out, which was Afghan Coffee.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely,
yeah,
big player. Yeah.
He was brilliantly caught at point by Ravindra Prasad, who eventually got the Man of the Match award. In came two for them, I think Brian Deosaran and Timothy Narayan. Now they consolidated that they built the innings. Now
we lost him. I think we lost you. Oh, we lost him. Let me see if I can go and get him back. Right, let's go.
So Brian Deosaran, Timothy Narayan came in, consolidated, started to build our innings, got the boundaries. They were on target. They were exactly on target. Our captain, Dan Zagesa, switched ends from the end that he was bowling from. He went to the Coco end. He happened to get Brian Deosaran bowl, and 3 deliveries later, I believe he got Timothy Narayan bowl in the very same over.
Wow.
So that swung the game back to us. I believe the equation at that point was 42 of 36, which was with 4 wickets in hand. First, for Spoilers, I believe that was still more than gettable. It was almost runnable, which they still had the power play over. Now, the power play over came and Keegan decided to bowl Kern Ramdeen. He didn't bowl over for the game yet.
Okay.
In Kern's first 5 deliveries, he conceded 1 run, which was a leg.
Wow.
A leg back. His final delivery, he conceded a 6. So Richard Harris ended up bowling the second to last over, and I think the equation was 24 of 18 at that point in time or something. 24 of 18, I'm not sure. Or 20 of 18. Wherever it was. The last over went down to 13. They needed 13. 12 for the super over, 13 to win. And Kern Ramdeen last over. First delivery of the last over, he got Akif Mohammed. And from there, he actually conceded a couple runs. He conceded a boundary, a 4. And it went down to them needed 7 runs of the last delivery. And they got a double, or 6 runs of the last delivery. 7 or 6, and they got a double. We ended up winning the match by 4 runs. The game was anybody's game, to be honest. Like, I believe at one point they had us. I think they had us, but like the game swung when Keegan got those 2 wickets in that quarter.
Well, Keegan Jagasa, he finished the game with 3 wickets for 21 runs, and that in itself was obviously a game-changing sort of figure, right?
Yeah.
So I guess everyone would have done their part in trying to get us. But tell me this much: given the fact that Spoilers DB have the reputation that they have in tournaments and probably in South Trinidad, them being the defending champions, knowing that you had to play them, especially having to wait to play them.
Yeah.
Was that something that you all would have been thinking about because of how dominant they can be?
To be honest, no. They are no strangers to us. We know them very well. We would have played against them in finals already.
Okay.
We met them in the final in the Sun Sports T20 a couple of years ago. And we would have played them in the preliminary stage in the Southern Sports competition and all of that. And we know them very well. So it was nothing that we wasn't expecting. We know how good they are in Guaracara specifically. They are a very hard team to beat over there. Now, actually, when we won our game on Wednesday night against Vikings, Spoilers had to play Nazarite on Thursday.
Which was a tough game. Which was a tough game.
Yes. Now, going into that game, well, a lot of people in general, not our guys specifically, but a lot of people were talking about that, it's going to be a HYO Nazarite final. So I told them that I don't think so. Although Nazarite may be favorites to win the game, I don't think that they could beat Spoilers. So Spoilers is not an easy to, especially in Guaracara. And so said, so done. Spoilers came out and they more or less had an easy game, you could say.
Spoilers, they actually bowled them down for 120 runs and they made it quite easily 123 for 4. Yeah, so
exactly.
So you're on the ball.
Yeah, so I mean, we actually went into the final with a game plan. So, because we knew their players and whatsoever and whatnot and thing. Actually, when we went into bat, Kern opened the batting with Ravindra Ampasad, and Kern got bowled long, like the first delivery phase.
Oh.
So we were immediately on our back foot, and our plan had to change. And Vishnu Narayan came in, consolidated with Ravindra Ampasad. They built an innings. Then Vishnu went, and Suraj Sipal came in. Luckily, he got a chance when he was dropped, but he made use of it, and he and Ravindra would have pushed us. Now, at one point, at the rate we were going, we were comfortably making 210, 220. But Avlan Coffee came and bowled a brilliant spell for them. He got 1 for 13 in his 4 overs, and that pegged us back to 181. Suraj ended up on 55, Ravindra ended up on 56, and Vishnu ended up on 32. So, I mean, it was a brilliant final, to be honest.
Well, Suraj Sipal is having quite a great few weeks because he was actually on the notorious Knight Riders team up in Bish that won their tournament a couple of weeks ago. So he's quite in form. So So I'll let you out by asking you this little bacchanal question here. How did you guys celebrate?
We celebrated right there. To be honest, we had things in place. With our families and whatnot. Most of our supporters, the executive members from the club. We actually spent a lot of time right there in Guaracara. A lot of people was congratulating, wanted pictures and whatnot. We actually went to the home bar by our field in Hunted Village after. We chilled out, We woke up yesterday morning. We had a fish broth. Had a couple of drinks and all that. But a couple of the guys actually had cricket yesterday with another team. So they didn't overdo it. Oh yeah, and Suraj is actually another one of the new players who we brought in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Phillip, I wanna congratulate you again, and I want you and the guys to continue to just savor the moment. Because
so much.
Because the moment is actually for an entire year. You guys are going to be the champions of the Guaracara T20 for the next year. And we hope that your preparation for 2025 was just like 2024. And hopefully you guys could defend your title in 2025.
Yes, we will come out and try our best again.
Thanks again for joining us, Phillip.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
No problem. So that was Phillip Achan. He is the manager of the Hermitage Youth Organization cricket team, and they are the new 2024 T20 the Guaracara T20 Night Cricket Champions. We'll be back. Lima with the Live Wire.
He's the Live Wire.
So it's time for the scoreboard, Lima with the Live Wire, in this particular episode. And we start with the 2 championship matches that were played over the weekend. So we'll start with a hardball version of the championship in the Guaracara T20 Night Cricket Tournament. Hermitage Youth Organization won the crown, beating last year's champion Spoilers DB by a minuscule 4 runs in the end. And we just heard from the HYO manager, Mr. Phillip Achan, and so he was particularly pleased, as he should be. Hermitage batted first and scored 181 for 9. Ravindra Rampersad struck for 56, and Suraj Sipal, fresh off his Bish T20 winning stint with the notorious Knight Riders, came up with a 55. Avalon Coffee took 3 wickets for 13 runs for Spoilers DB. At the end of the chase, Spoilers DB were agonizingly close at 177 for 9. Tariq Abdul could only find 47 runs off his bat. Keegan Jagasar, the captain of the HYO team, took 3 wickets for 21 runs to seal the victory. Again, to Mr. Phillip Achan and the HYO team, congratulations for capturing this year's Guaracara T20 title for the first time. In another championship game, this time up in Bonaire Gardens, where CSK won another tournament for 2024, this time the Bonaire Premier League, that happened on Sunday at the Bonaire Recreation Ground against More Fire. The toss was won by More Fire, who chose to send CSK to bat. They made 70 for 4. Imtiaz Mohammed led them with 12 runs. More Fire had the game to win at 63 for 4 with only the final over to face. But Nicholas Kanhai bowled the final over. He took 2 wickets and held the batsmen to 6 runs. Talk about agony, man. More Fire ended on 69 for 6, and CSK left Aruka with a 1-run victory and the $10,000 top prize and another championship trophy to add to their collection. We'll chat with CSK manager and player Aamir Khan when we shut down the scoreboard for this episode. So congratulations to CSK on taking the Bonaire Premier League on Sunday. Moving to Central down in Couva at the McBean T10. Let's get some scores, and the scores are Gunners beating Team Sparta on Saturday by 8 wickets. Team Sparta scored 62 for 5, while Gunners countered with 68 for 2 in 4.4 overs. Gunners came up with a 2-game sweep when they defeated Iron Slashers by 63 runs. Gunners batted first and scored 112 for 7, then held Iron Slashers for 47 for 7. Also, on Saturday, Ultimate Strikers took out Rampage by 57 runs. Ultimate Strikers lost 4 wickets in reaching 135. Rampage were bowled out for 78. St. Madeleine Park Boys won both their games played on Sunday. First, they scored 146 for 6 against Couva Shutters, beating them by 68 runs. Shutters finished at 78 for 5. Then Park Boys were better than Supreme by 12 runs. Park Boys scored 82 for 8, and Supreme scored 66 for 8. The older guys played in the Montico Creations Tyro Sports Club over 45 win ball cricket on Sunday, and the Big 8 teams were confirmed on Sunday when Team Pro secured their place in the Big 8 with a win over Clubhouse by 43 runs. Team Pro scored 122 for 1. Clubhouse finished with 79 for 2. Also on Sunday, Montico Drifters scored 124 for 6 against Uprising, who scored 72 for 5, beating them by 52 runs. Only one game was played on Saturday in Botmalatris, and that saw Unknown beating Empire Maitor Organs, my goodness, by 6 wickets in a low-scoring game. And we'll close with 7-a-side football up in the Talparo 7-a-side tournament being held at the Tudge Road Recreation Ground. On Friday, G20 Ballers drew twice. They finished goalless with Ballers FC and 1-1 with KP Land Strikers. Tabakiti United also played 2. They beat LIL Boys 1-0 to subject them to their first loss, but earlier lost to DM United 2-1. And the young playmakers stayed undefeated in defeating Spartans as well, who played 2 games as well. They won that game against Spartans 2-0. On Saturday, an own goal was the difference when Eastside Ballers beat Netshakers in a match that ended 4-3. Ricochet had a bad evening, losing to Todd's Road United 2-1 and playing a goalless draw with San Rafael United. Sharpshooters and Skywalkers also played a goalless game, and Hilltoppers earned their first points with Oasis FC defaulting their game to them. And that was the scoreboard for this episode. We'll be back with Aamir Khan of CSK, the manager of CSK. He's going to be talking about, well, we're going to talk about CSK. You're live with the Live Wire.
Now hear this!
He's the Live Wire.
As advertised, we have Aamir Khan, who is the manager of the Charlieville, I say Charlie King, Charlieville Super Kings, otherwise known as CSK to everyone in the Windball cricket circuit. Aamir, thanks for joining me live with the Live Wire.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Aamir, you guys are having, I don't like to use the word, I do like to use the term hell of a, because to me that doesn't say anything. You guys are having a fabulous Windball season this year. You guys won down at Bronte, you guys won at Midway Hill Peace, and last night you guys pulled off a 1-run win in the first ever Bonnier Premier League. So the first thing I want to do is congratulate you guys on that win last night. And the obvious first question is, at what point in that game, because it was a one-run game, at what point in that game were you concerned about whether or not you guys could win it?
Well, definitely, it was a keenly contested encounter. Morfire is one of the better teams around the Windball circuit, so
Definitely.
at no point in time we were taking it for granted that we had the game won, because they were always getting those quick singles. We weren't at the best in the field. We had a lot of misfields, drop catches, and extras being we felt a lot of extras. So we weren't disciplined in the field as we would normally be in a final. And Morfire is a team that, they are always fighting the cricket at the very best. They don't give you a sniff. So we felt the game slipping away when one of the deliveries went for 5 wides. And the run rate came down to basically a runner ball.
Oh.
But having said that, we have a lot of experience in the team. And we know that if we string together some dot balls with the pressure and the expectation and the event itself of it being a final and it having a large crowd at the ground, most of them obviously being Morfire supporters, the pressure was definitely on. So, it could have gone anyway, but I believed in the experience of our team and Nicholas Kanhai, even though he's young. He's playing a lot of cricket for a young guy, and he's a guy that is very confident in himself. And it could have gone anyway, but at the end of the day, I think we were just a little bit better on that night to get the victory.
Well, Nicholas Kanhai won the man of the match of that game solely, I'm pretty certain, solely on the events of those last 6 balls.
Yes, I think that was probably an emotional decision to give him the man of the match, but I think the man of the match was really Imtiaz Mohammed, better known as Inky.
Yeah, Inky, yeah.
He was the guy that came out and hit a couple of sixes, because
he only had 2 scoring shots. He had 2 balls that went over the boundary, and that was that.
Yeah, that was very critical, because we were under some pressure there to get some runs in the end with 2 overs to go. And he came out, and obviously the wicket isn't easy to bat pelting on. So he came out and executed 2 sixes under a lot of pressure as well to get us to 70. And 70 is a match-winning score once you hit the right areas with your pelting. But if you're not disciplined with the pelting, the game would have come down as it did. I think it was entertaining for the crowd. Everyone there were on their seats. They had a lot of noise. The anticipation of what would happen. It was there throughout the game. It wasn't any mundane game where it was just a formality. At no point in time did any team show that they were on top. The game was fluctuating throughout both innings, and it went right down to the wire at the end, and it was just the guy missed the ball, and they still got that bye. Even though he missed the ball, the keeper also missed the ball first. So yeah.
Who actually kept in the game? Was it Munsami?
Well, this is it. So normally Hanuman Munsami keeps first.
Okay.
And he was having a hard night because usually he's excellent behind the wicket, but he came from hardball. He scored 100 in his hardball game during the day. Ooh. Then we went up. He came up there to play the semi-final at 5 p.m. And then after the semi-final, we had the final. So he was a bit tired. He didn't make an excuse not to keep, but I told him after the game that if he was tired, he should have told me, and I would have kept. Or Avian Mejias, he ended up keeping the last over, so he still ended up missing the ball as well. And he was telling me after the game, he missed the ball and they get it by and whatnot. But that happens in cricket as well. Not every game everyone will be at their best, but it's the collective effort of the team that helped us get over the line.
Thanks for mentioning Avian Mejias, because this leads to a question that I wanted to ask. There are a lot of teams like CSK who are very, very successful. But they are also one of those teams that gather talent, probably from other teams. I wouldn't say poach, because that's not a proper word to do to use, because that's actually not what happens. But you guys had Avian Mejias playing in this tournament. I don't know if it's the first time that he played with you all, but he plays a lot of cricket. And he's one of the better win-ball cricketers in Trinidad and Tobago. The question I brought that up because the question I want to ask is this. There's a reason why players would gravitate to certain teams. What do you credit for attracting great players to CSK? Is it an environment that you guys create? But what makes it so attractive? What makes you guys so effective at bringing these guys in to the CSK fold?
I'm happy you asked that question. So CSK started in 2014 with myself, my two brothers, and our friend Nazad, and better known as Lara. We used to call him Lara growing up because he used to bat like Brian Lara. So the four of us came together, and we were in school still, secondary school, and we didn't really have any finances, but we knew that we had the ability. We just need to get some guys together, and one of the guys we looked at, we didn't know him personally, but we looked at Christopher Vincent and asked him to play the win ball cricket with us, because we were really focused on win ball bowling.
Dangle.
The bowling of the win ball.
Yeah, the man dangle.
Yes, dangles. Yeah, dangles. The man better known as Dangles. So Christopher Vincent, better known as Dangles. And I asked him, I didn't know him personally, but I asked him on Facebook that, we have this side and I'm interested in you playing with us and whatnot. And he said, yes, he'll come on board. And he knew Phillip, the West Indies cricketer, and also a guy by the name of Salim Hussain. So we had three of them.
Okay.
So we came together and we started playing cricket with some other guys as well on the team. And we did not have any type of big name players or seeded players, but I played a lot of cricket growing up. I know the game, I studied the game a lot, and I knew the side that we had was good enough to compete with any team on the circuit, no matter of the name, because we used to train a lot, we used to play a lot of cricket, so we know the ability that we have, even though we didn't have any seeded players per se because of the seeded list. We still went out there and we were able to win tournaments against these big name guys, the big tournaments, and some of them included the Bamboo Cricket League, the AS2 Double H cricket tournament. Those leagues are no longer run at the moment, but those were the big pelting leagues at that point in time. We reached the semi-finals in Norman on a couple of occasions as well. So we started to create this winning culture from the ground up. So we didn't start off with having the big name players per se. We put in the groundwork to create what CSK is right now, and it was a lot of sacrifice, a lot of tough times as well that went into creating CSK, assembling like uniforms. We have to thank Answer Sports, that's Faik, the councillor, the mayor Faik. His business, his wife runs the business now, and she assisted us a lot with getting uniforms and so on. So I must thank them for that, because just having a uniform, if you don't have any finances to even get a jersey, is a challenge, because not much people willing to sponsor teams and things and so on. So it was a lot of sacrifices to get where we are now. And when you started winning tournaments, well, obviously these players would take note that these guys have something with them. So it's a combination of having that history behind us that we were able to do it without any big name players per se. Even though the guys on our side, I had full confidence that they were just as good as anyone else. Because you need to have that belief in yourself if you're going to play in tournaments and want to win tournaments. So we had that belief. We were able to achieve winning tournaments that we wanted to achieve, and now we began to branch out. We played some hardball tournaments as well. We were able to win also, and I guess is a combination as well of these guys. Win ball cricket is not just about cricket when it comes to winning tournaments. It's also a business. So these guys, they have their trade that they offer to teams, and if they also are comfortable with the team, they would be willing to be a part of the team. They will not go and play on a team that they are not comfortable with. So we try to create a comfortable environment for them to apply their trade, and obviously you offer incentives for any cricket that you play. So the guys and them with their performances and so on. At the end of the day, if you have a skill and you want to use your skill to better yourself, and you won't make a living from win ball cricket, but to make something sustainable that you could use for your own benefit is something that win ball cricketers, the top win ball cricketers do. And I don't see some people have a problem with it, but I don't really see a problem with that, because at the end of the day, it's a skill. Just like you have the IPL and the people train and do their best to play at that level. Win ball cricket in itself has reached that stage, and it will continue to evolve in that manner.
I totally agree. You guys now have people like Hanuman Munsami, Kapil Hari, Imtiaz Mohammed, Nicholas Kanhai, Avian Mejias. That could just incite fear in a lot of teams, for teams who will be honest to themselves, don't have that kind of talent. But it's nice to know that you guys won from the ground up. You guys build this thing from the ground up. How many titles have you guys won so far for the year, for 2024?
Well, last night we had 2 finals in one night. It was the first time that we ended up having 2 finals in one night. Wow. We had a hardball final, and we also had the final at Bonaire. So we were able to win 2. We're really thankful and appreciative of that, and grateful that we were able to win those 2 titles, as well as the 2 titles at the beginning of the year. So far we have won 4. We have entered 4 tournaments, and we have won 4 tournaments for the year, which we are really grateful and thankful for all the support, all the dedication and commitment from the players. There's a lot of people if you just look at winning a tournament, that is just the end product. The amount of sacrifice and effort goes into just entering a tournament, to put everything in place, to make sure you're there every game, to make sure you're qualified, knowing the knockouts, to make sure you execute every game. Because even though you have names, just like us, when we used to play against the big name players without having them on the side, we used to have to come and believe that we could win. So just as though we have these names, there are teams there that I hope, even though they may not be starting, have that belief that no matter who you are playing against, you have that confidence that you can win. Because just as people would say things about CSK now that, they are a big side and so on and so forth, I don't ever consider us a big side. I always go into any cricket tournament with full respect for all other teams and respect the game just as we did when it started. So I don't think that we are bigger or better than any other team. We are just as any other team in the cricket, in the circuit, the win ball circuit, and when we enter any tournament, we have to put in the same effort and the work needed to win a tournament. Because winning a tournament is easy to say you won a tournament, but the amount of things that goes on behind the scenes to get everyone there to play the cricket is a lot of effort. So we're really thankful that we're able to come out on top in these 4 tournaments, and we're just trying to continue to build and go from strength to strength.
So what's next for CSK? What's on the immediate horizon for CSK?
Well, what's next is the Bronte committee are having a bowling tournament.
Yeah, that's happening. That's starting later this month or early next month or something like that. Well, in June. It's happening in June sometime. Yeah.
Well, I saw they advertised July 13th.
July. Oh, yes, July. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So more than likely that would be the next major league that we would enter, as well as another tournament in McBean, the Big Harry's T10 bowling tournament as well, which we won last year.
Okay.
So those would be the two tournaments that we would be targeting at the moment. It's a lot of organization. Without my brother Arshad and my other brother Atir, it will be difficult for us to enter these leagues, because it takes a lot of organization. You would know, as I think I heard you in one of your podcasts, or I read that you played minor league cricket, so you would have an idea as well.
I still play minor league cricket.
And you still play,
Yeah.
so you would have an idea that even though it's minor league, it's still a lot of sacrifice of your personal time and a lot of effort to make sure that you go out there and you be disciplined in what you're doing. You know, you just want to say enter a tournament and then, you know, you're not really committed to the cause. So
Yeah.
those are the next two tournaments that we are looking at. I know you said I'm the manager. Well, right now I'm taking up the manager. My brother is really the manager. Arsha is really the manager. But I also manage the team. Of recent, I usually captain the team since we started. But with more responsibilities and so on now in my personal life, I kind of ease up with captaining the team on a consistent basis. Sometimes I'd ask one of the senior men to probably take over if I can't make. So yes, I do take on the manager role, but my brother is really the manager of the team, who is Arshad.
Well, Aamir, I want to thank you for joining me here, Lyman with the Live Wire. It was a pleasure. It actually is a pleasure because even earlier today, I tried to make contact with Hanuman Munsami, and I got a commitment. I didn't get a commitment from him, but through one of his friends, not on the team, but I got a commitment from him to be in studio with me next week. So I'm hoping that he will be here, so we'll have a little more CSK. CSK is, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm hearing, is one of two things. It's either you love them or you hate them. And I love things like that. I also love the fact that when you guys come out, it's like a family affair because all your family and your friends and your supporters are with you guys, right? And I saw that in the pictures last night, and I hope that this continues with you guys.
Of course, we appreciate that, and I appreciate you having me on at your podcast, and I look forward to maybe being on in the future. Oh,
definitely. You'll be on in the future again. Once CSK is in existence, and I'm pretty certain that you guys are going to be, ultra successful in whatever you do, whether you're successful or not, because you guys usually have your hand on the pulse of things that happen in wind ball cricket. So I definitely will be inviting you back to join me here, Lyman with the Live Wire.
Definitely, and I also want to commend you on the excellent job that you are doing, because what you are doing is something unprecedented. I don't think anyone has ever taken this type of interest or responsibility in giving back to wind ball cricket, minor league cricket. I know you also cover other sports, but it's the first time I'm seeing someone actually, giving exposure and highlighting these leagues that are taking place throughout the country. So I must commend you on the excellent job that you are doing, and I hope that you continue the great work and that you keep up the excellent journalism in all the leagues that you cover.
Thanks for the compliment, Aamir, and continue to share the page and continue to consume the page, because I'm always going to have things for you guys.
Of course, no problem.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, man, take care.
You said the captain of the Charleville Super Kings. We all know them as CSK, one of the more successful wind ball cricket teams in Trinidad and Tobago. All right, so we're going to be back. We're going to be closing off. Lyman with the Live Wire.
He's the Live Wire.
So don't forget, this episode drops at 9 p.m. I know by the time you get it, it'll already drop. So it could already be 9. So, or anytime between 9 and half 9. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where this is going to be available, as well as the Sideline Facebook page, where this is also going to be available. The YouTube channel is Livewire Media Works. Livewire Media Works. Subscribe and, give us a like. Leave some comments. The normal thing that's something that people like myself didn't grow up with, but younger people will know better than me. All right. This is a really fun episode of Lyman with the Live Wire, just Lyman with champions. All right. So look out for the next episode. It might be Friday, it might be next week, Monday, but stay on the sideline and you're gonna find out. Mark Anthony Scott, live long and prosper, even in your eternal sleep. We'll see you next time.